like I say, in all the old days, there's all these people that are basically living on other people's fame or fortune. They get other people to do the work and stuff like that. Like I say, there's all these people in the old days that used to say, well, you got to get this guy, and you got to talk to that guy, and you got to do something for this guy, and you got to do that something for that guy. It's like, no, you don't. There's like five or six or eight different people in the world that know how to put on big shows. You just don't know those people. Or you can go to Japan. Like the best thing is if you don't know what you're doing, go to China, ask around China, and talk to like the Chinese government and be like, we want to do this. And the Chinese government, believe it or not, will be like, usually the Chinese government is really helpful. Like they'll just, they know how, like I say, all the technology, all this technology, all the screens, all the lights, all that stuff, the smoke machines, everything, all that stuff. That's actually all Germany or China. That's where it all comes from. Just nobody knows. That's the thing that nobody knows is that the smoke machines, the screens, the speakers, the lights, all this stuff, that you see and you're like, ooh, ah, yeah, to put on a real show. It's like you don't need to go talk to those other middlemen. It's all Germany, it's all China. That's where you go if you want to have this effect. You go to talk to China, and China makes all this stuff. That's the thing that everybody was like, what the fuck? The Chinese are making everything. It's like, yeah, the Chinese make the smoke machines, the Chinese make the screens, the Chinese make the lights. You know, they do it. You can go to China, all this stuff, everything on the that you're seeing in on the screen right there. That's all made in China. That was the thing is that the Chinese were getting like pennies, but all this stuff, it was all these other people that were making a lot of money. So like these people aren't really making any money, and the Chinese aren't really making any money, and there's like this fat lump in the middle that is making the money, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you can just go to China, and you talk to the Chinese, and and that's what starts to happen after a little bit is that people realize, you don't need to go talk to Eddie Murphy. You don't need to go talk to all these other people. You can just go directly to China and be like, hook it up. And the Chinese will be like, oh, yes. So, you want concert? And, and sorry, that's a little German Chinese. Um, yeah, but yeah, all the screens, everything, it's all made in China. It's always been made in China. The China gets gypped, and these stars get gypped, and somebody like Tupac or somebody else or somebody in Africa or somebody or like Eddie Murphy gets like all the money. It's like, you guys should just go to China and ask around, and they'll hook it up for you, and then you'll be rich, they'll be rich, and because they do all the work. I mean, it's not even, and then you hire a couple people to work for you. The Chinese will even tell you how to set it up. There's a guy that posts some videos about how to do a concert actually because he knows because all these big recording people, all these big concert people that really pack the house, you know, he was doing half the shows. He was doing one third of all shows or like he was doing like yeah, about a third of all the shows. And he goes to China and he does all the work and he does this and he does that. And China actually does most of the work for him. And then he just hires these other people and then like these other rich people whatever, they go contact him. And then one time he realized, why am I getting gypped? He was like he was like and he reaches out, and that's when he starts getting threats because people like Eddie Murphy, people like these other people are like, ah, and it's like, what? It's a free market, and then he starts getting threats on his life and all that kind of stuff because they don't want to lose the money. It's like, wow. Anyway, but yeah, it was like this big secret, that it's just so stupid. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, though, eventually kids start putting on the shows, and start denying like, well, it's just these fat cats in Africa and all these other people. And it's because they want to drive all the nice cars and they want to feel like hot shit. Yeah, but yeah, it's true. China was like my second place go to anyway. Either Europe or China or someplace. Africa is all fucked. I wouldn't go to Africa. There, it's nothing but corruption down there. Corruption, lies, sex. A bunch of really, really, really like they don't care. They don't value human life at all in Africa. So anyway, eventually, that's the thing too that they knew. Eventually, China is going to rule the world. The Chinese already got like the Chinese are way better than everyone else. Not rule the world, but the Chinese are just way more organized. They got everything. They got all the technology and everything. And the black people, which, like I said, the black people came on the stage